One. There we go. Yo, welcome back to another edition of the Cruising Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Cruz, and today is Monday, July 17th. Yes, it's a Monday. We're doing Warrior Cast on a Monday. And whoever, we always get joined in with the magnificent Michael Carrell. How are you doing, Michael?
I'm doing all right. I like magnificent. That sounds cool. I like it.
I'm trying to find different adjectives. Is that adjectives? I think I'm looking for different adjectives each time you jump on the show. So
Thank you.
keep it
Appreciate
fresh.
it. I appreciate that so much. I will do my best to not disappoint.
Oh, never. That's impossible.
Oh, it's possible. Jong would tell you it's very possible.
But where you can find the Cruise Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, and anywhere else you can find podcast needs. That's where you can find the Cruising Podcast. Also, you can find latest updates to the show is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast, also on Twitter at Nicetown Finest. And where can they find you, Michael Carrell?
They can find me at Producer Mike 975 on all your favorite podcast platforms. Why do I always say that? You can find at Producer Mike 975 on all your social media platforms. You can find Comicast, the podcast that I host with Jong Lee. You can find that on all your favorite podcast platforms. COMICAST. Yeah, that's all I have to plug, and I'll get it right next time.
Hey, look, we here. They can find.
I'm already starting off trying to disappoint. See, it's already kind of in there. Ooh.
Hey, look, it's easy. Producer Mike 975 is just type it in, and that's where Michael Carrell is.
It's pretty much everywhere. Yeah, you're not gonna if you type that in, it's me pretty much.
You're one of the lucky ones that have the same social media for everything.
I lucked out because like literally there's a bunch of producer mics, but not any with 975, huh?
Yeah, that's a trademark, guys. So if you try to take it, I'm going to sue you for Michael. Just put it out.
Thank you, because I have no lawyer. So thank you. Good looking out.
What are y'all talking about on Comicast right now?
Right now, so it's funny. We actually recorded the latest issue of Comicast yesterday, so Sunday, July 16th, and that episode's releasing Tuesday, July 18th, and it's about Secret Invasion, the latest episode of Secret Invasion. We dive in, and then of course we mention a bit about the current actors strike. Of course, the writer strike is happening, and then last week, I think it was like last Wednesday or Thursday or something like that, the writers have gone on, the actors have gone on strike now. So it's kind of throwing everything off in terms of like Deadpool 3. It's supposed to come out next year. If this thing doesn't get worked out anytime soon, more than likely that's delayed. Venom 3 delayed probably. Mortal Kombat 2, Gladiator 2. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in production that will feel the effects of this. Outside of House of the Dragon, which found a loophole somehow. But outside of that, there a lot of stuff's going on strike, and a lot of stuff is going to be delayed because of the strike. And so we covered that a bit in issue 494 of Comicast.
494 episodes. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
6 more to 500. Uh-oh.
We're slowly approaching.
Let's get the cake ready.
Jong's got to get it. I don't want to get it.
Understandable.
I don't want to get it.
I feel like you've been doing all the heavy lifting. Yeah.
Yeah, Jong. Take that.
But
Jong, please don't fire me. Please don't fire me. Please. I'm sorry. It was I got big headed again. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, looks like Michael's bringing the cake.
Now I am. I've learned my lesson.
Yeah, the latest actors strike is definitely going to be a very weird situation because we don't have the writers and we don't have the actors. And it seems like everybody's going on strike right now. It's a little weird.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because also like the directors were supposedly like let's see, the directors had reached an agreement at some point, so that's okay. Like they're set, but the writers, actors, which is I think the first time since 1960 that both of them have been on strike at the same time. So this is like kind of unprecedented waters in terms of where we're at, and especially in terms of like what it means for AI, because that's been one of the big sticking points so far. So, I don't know when they'll come to terms, if any. The insiders are saying possibly October is when the earliest you could see something. So that's a little bit of a ways from now. So
because I'm worried about mostly like this. Actually, the show that we are talking about today is, this is one of the ones that's going to be affected by this. Are we going to get a season 4? Because we had to wait 3 years for just to get a third season. So,
Yeah.
and Euphoria. I saw Euphoria won't be coming out until 2026 now. I don't know how House of Dragon stayed on target, but
It's something with them shooting in the UK, and there's something there with that. I didn't read the article fully to understand that one, but yeah, I saw that about Euphoria not coming until like what was it, 2026, which that's wild to me. Like that's not even I mean, I haven't seen the show, so I can't judge fully, but I feel like that would be a show that you could probably shoot not too long. Because I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a lot of CGI or anything like that. I think it's just so that was surprising when I saw like that's 3 years from now. Would that seriously take that long?
and it's high school kids too. I mean, like, well, people that are supposed to be
Yeah,
high school kids,
yeah,
and they're going to age 4 more
they're
years.
they're gonna be juniors in college before the end of it.
It's so
Something.
it's crazy. This is a crazy time. We like my job is about to go on strike too, so it's just like
Is
it's
it
a
really?
oh yeah,
Oh God.
over 350,000 people will be on strike next week, possibly.
Sheesh.
So yeah, it's a crazy time in the United States. We have unions.
Yeah, yeah. I am not in part of a union, so I go on strike. It's just literally me.
You can pick it out. Hey,
Yeah, I could try.
yeah.
I'll just say, Michael, get back to work. Okay, I'm sorry.
All right, so we got a comment on YouTube. This is
Mm,
actually almost a week ago. The first comment on the Warden Warrior cast. We're getting a little traction on here. It's kind of cool. But our first one is from Hamby1114, and he
okay,
says a toy and lie don't have their weapons in Sonoma. They're using farming knives and tools as weapons. This
it's
is
true.
from the third episode. I think it's
Uh,
the
third, I believe. Yeah.
yeah, the third episode where they were fighting at Sonoma trying to protect
Mhm.
the land. I completely forgot that they didn't have any weapons but farm tools. I was
I
very
mean, yeah,
upset with
they did
myself
their
about
best with
this.
what they have. Yeah, they did the best they could with what they had.
Like, did lie cut someone's head in half with like a
Yeah, because she had like two scythes
oh,
that she
that's what
was
it
working
was.
with, like
Oh
the kind that you do work on a farm with. She had those, but it didn't. Whether it was farming equipment or not, Lie made it work.
yes, she did, in a very brutal fashion.
Mhm, mhm,
but,
mhm.
but let's continue on to episodes 5 of this of the Warrior. Where we got left off was both of the bosses of the Tongs had been arrested. And it looks like they went to two completely different places to start this
Yeah,
episode off.
yeah. So that was the thing. I think I mentioned it at the end of our last Warrior cast. Was okay. Oh, I think they're gonna be in the both in jail, and maybe they'll talk there or something like that. No, Young Jun went to a deportation like camp or something like that, and Mai Ling actually went to jail, but we come to find out she's able to get out pretty quickly. Whereas Young June, it takes like a Hail Mary to get him out. And on top of that, it's not like he's safe in there either. That was a bit of a tough draw for Young June in this episode. But yeah, it was an interesting place. I didn't expect it. I guess I didn't expect them to already be out of jail by the end of the episode. I thought there'd be a little bit more for both of them because I thought both of them were going to be pushed to the ends of possibly like not being out, but
Mhm.
they both got out pretty quick.
See, what was crazy about Young June's like his whole like storyline from like last episode to this episode is like his mouth got him in trouble last episode, and then this episode his actions that he did, beating up shopkeepers and things like that came back. Like that's
Mhm.
karma. Oh, you got locked up with a bunch of people that you strong armed into doing security, getting security money from, blah blah blah, beating up the shopkeepers. Some of the Tongan wars that have happened in the streets have been unintentional casualties. And he's about to pay the he's really ready to pay the piper with what his some of his actions that the Hopway have been a part of. And I think that's the difference between the Hopway and the Long Z is like the Hopway are like they dress nice, but they're brutal
Mhm.
to like their own citizens. And the
Mhm.
difference and with Long Z, it seems like they if it was reversed and it may have been Mai Ling in there, I don't maybe it would have been different because it doesn't seem like they're brutal towards their own people. So I wonder if it was in reverse, would she be a would they try to jump her or anything like that, like they did to Young June?
Well, I wonder if they'd get her for the like being seen as working with the pond, in
Mm,
different ways. So I wonder if that would have come up for her because it kind of does when she gets back to the Long Z and Lee Yong and maybe not even working with the pawn, but her just making moves without the rest of the Tong knowing what she's doing, and kind of them finding out like secondhand about some of the deals that she's making and the money that she's lost and things like that. So like I think it would have been an interesting place to put both of them in though if the roles had been reversed. But I wonder with Young June, because I was writing this down in my notes, I was wondering if this could be a wake up call for him in some way in terms of how he should treat people that are in his territory,
mhm,
the people that make up the Hopway territory, and help them do a lot of what they do, tailor their suits, and all the different things. I couldn't help but think that there may be a wake up call there in terms of how he should treat the rest of Chinatown when approaching them, and maybe that's changed moving forward. I mean, we'll have to wait and see
mhm.
because the dynamic that I didn't expect was the reintroduction of Father June. Like I didn't
Yes.
expect that.
I was hyped when I seen him. I was like, dang, they made Father June look so old. Oh my gosh. It looks
Right?
like he's weathered. And I forgot that, forget in the last season, he said, I'm going to New York. And to hear his story is like he didn't even make it out of California. It's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
And
it was crazy. It was super crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, my bad. Oh, it feels like he's at a point now where, like you said, that he's going to have maybe that realization, like, yo, maybe I should start treating these people a little bit better. But I think it's going to take his father being a guiding hand because he needs his dad. Father June kind of like held everything together to a point, but like Young June just seems like the whole Hop way is just discombobulated. They don't know what they're doing, like with the whole counterfeit. I think Father June would have been so much better handling that than Young June. Like it's just, I'm happy that there is a reintroduction of him possibly being part of the Tong again.
Yeah, but I wonder, speaking from the Mai Ling point of view, that's going to be a new wrinkle to everything that she's not planning for. That I
Mhm,
wonder how much that affects her in terms of what her strategies may be. Because yes, they did say they're like under an agreement, but like
mhm,
realistically, how long do we expect that agreement to last? With Father June in the picture, I don't know that that thing lasts uh, as much as a Psalm or Young June think it may. I think Father June is a perfect like foil to whatever plans of peace there might be. However, with the bulls and how they are with the pond and how much they are just further pressing on the Tongs in different ways, like we saw
mhm.
with Mai Ling, they pressed her in a different way. I do wonder if that peace treaty aspect kind of works out in the end.
It's just and then at the end of the episode, we see Young June and Assam get into it because he was like, "Yo, you made it. I didn't want to work with her." He's like, "Man, you really made the. I love that he told him you're the one that made this deal, like for you getting arrested. No one told you to spit at a cop. No one told you to
Yeah.
do that, you know. And pretty much this, like you said, it was a hail mary because if she says no, you going back to you and your dad are possibly dying in that deportation camp like you were planning on, and you really did get lucky. That's really what it is that they're actually siblings, and maybe she has kind of a heart towards her brother, and she pretty much
Mhm.
threw him a stick. I mean, threw him olive branch to like bring him back up, but you gotta give me 50% of all your business. That was your cost.
That's a
And
wild deal. That is a wild deal.
it's sad because it seems like Assam wants to be the boss, but doesn't want to be the boss at the same time.
Mhm.
And Lee Young, like I've said before, like he does not want to be the boss. It just he doesn't want that at all. He's by
Mhm.
any means necessary. He was going to get Myling out of that jail. It by any means necessary. Because I really don't think he wants that leadership.
Yeah, no, I don't think Assam or Lee Yong want the leadership roles. I think they serve the betterment of Chinatown and the Tongs to a certain extent.
Hmm.
Assam, I think he would lean more towards Chinatown in general than the Hopway, even though he claims to represent the Hopway more and more. But yeah, Lee Young and Assam are very much in the same kind of vein and very much of the same kind of cloth and ilk, where they're more just they want to fight. They don't want to necessarily uh, be leaders and come into terms and all this and that. Like that's not their their thing. Assam, but what's the thing? There's like an old adage like the people that usually don't want to lead are usually the best leaders or whatever.
Hmm.
And Assam was showcasing that in this episode because like Hong's like we can just rush in, da, 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 da. Assam's like no, that will lead to just a hurricane of destruction towards us if we just go in there. I want to say guns blazing, but hatchets blazing in a sense. So like it doesn't make sense for us to do that. I mean, he was being as strategic as he could, and really that was probably the best deal he was gonna get, unless he like had like a photo of somebody like my Ling has, of Buckley. Like if he had something like that, like maybe he could have had a better deal. But there's just, I mean, Young June. I mean, I don't like Chief Atwood's just a freaking wild card every episode. So like I don't even if Young June had not like done too much, like even if he had played it cool, I could still see Chief Atwood going just crazy on him and throwing him in jail anyway. But Young June did spit and did kind of perform a little bit. So then it was like, I that wasn't smart, man. And that's the thing that Young June has been dealing with is the lack of foresight. But now with Father June in the picture, maybe that changes a bit.
But and I like how those papers, the pictures that they have for like these Confederate generals are kind of
Mhm.
used like I don't know, like Nazi paper, like how like if somebody find out you were a Nazi,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
that
you kind of
yeah, I
ruins
didn't
your
think
whole
about that, but
career.
yeah. Yeah, that's exactly. It is kind of look used like that.
Like you were a Confederate soldier. Hold on, you're the
Mhm.
mayor.
But like, wait,
Oh,
what?
and you're trying to deport Chinese people? Oh, okay, hold on. Now
Mhm.
things are starting to make sense a little bit. And I'm surprised Lee hasn't been caught up with that yet. Like that's
Yeah.
definitely been another one that
Yeah.
well, then again he has that bounty on his head. So
Yeah, he's got a little something to deal with now. Uh yeah, with I'm curious where because it was funny because this episode it felt like it could have ended in three different spots because all three of them could have been like a oh snap.
mhm,
Because I thought the episode was going to end with Father June showing up and Assam and a Hong being like, oh, like, oh, snap. I didn't expect this. And then it goes to like the next scene where it was like Assam and young June talking about the deal and you making the deal. Oh,
mhm.
snap. Then it goes to Lee Young and Mai Ling, and it's like she's saying she wants to get married, and Lee Young wants that, but I think he's done something. I don't know with the elders of the Tongs or what, but I think something has happened to make him go, "Oh no, what have I done?" That's the look that I got at the end of the episode.
Because it seemed like they were supposed to, weren't they? It seemed like they were supposed to have like a vote to like
Yeah,
get her out,
yeah,
and I wonder if they already had made that vote by the time he got her out. It
mhm,
took him a minute, but Buckley, he has his political connections and probably took him a little bit because I like how Buckley came in and he was like, I don't know if I really need you anymore. And you think those
yeah,
photos gonna stop me now? It's like she had to make a heck of a deal to make sure that she got out of jail with Buckley too. But yeah, that look he gave was like, yeah, it's gonna be. We did something.
Yeah.
You're not the deal you made might fall through. Like that deal might fall through.
Yeah, because I think like Lee Young, like that might have been the straw that broke the back. Like that. I think her making that deal with Assam, yes, it's her brother, but still, she should have told, informed. They should have had a
Mhm.
discussion about it. Yes, it does benefit the Long Z in big ways. They get to hold the printing press. They get to have 50% of the Hopways territory, but still, that's a major deal to not consult your number two in Lee Young or to consult the elders. And I think they're not vibing with the deals that she's making, and losing the money that they lost.
Whew.
Like when he said a third of it is gone, it's just gone. I think that puts her in dicey territory with all of them. And I think Lee Young was doing his best to protect her, but I
Mhm.
think this last thing has not only put her in a position where he can't protect her anymore, but also he's questioning her. Like he used to not question her at all. I think he's really questioning her, where her head's at.
Yeah, I would question her too. I mean, like you haven't like you're with this person. You talk about you want to marry this person, but yet you're not telling this person any. He's literally the number two of your business, and you haven't discussed anything with him. Like just like what Kong said. So she hasn't discussed any of this with you, pretty much, and
Mhm.
like he just walks away. I'm like that trust. I don't think she has the trust, like business wise, with him to, you know, make it a positive work relationship for real. So if they voted her out, we're probably gonna find it out next episode,
Yeah, I would
and
imagine.
it's gonna that's gonna be. Does she run back to Assam, or what's she gonna do? Because she's gonna be out back. Like
Yeah.
and would that start a war with that deal? Because all right, well, we had a deal, and y'all supposed to give us 50%, but that deal was really with Mylene. That wasn't with the Long Z. That was sadly,
Mhm.
she never
Mhm.
consulted them, and that's definitely might be a contentious issue moving forward.
Yeah, I think so too. I could see them like maybe they honored the deal to a certain extent until they get the printing press and
Hmm.
until they get the plates, and then they flip the deal. But maybe Assam and the Hopway use that to their advantage in some way in terms of giving up the Long Z and them having the plates or something. Maybe it's a flip, of some kind that they could work out. But yeah, I could see the Long Z and the elders flipping the deal on the Hopway, or just Father June and Young June saying, we didn't make that deal. We don't honor it. Like that was Assam and y'all are brother and sister. That's different. This is Tong business, and we're going to do it our way. And like it could just end up leading to another war of some kind.
'Cause that's what it seemed like at the end. That well, what should have been probably so many. Like you said, there's so many different ends to this episode but the actual ending to the episode was like a oh snap moment itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like Young Jun wanted to throw that deal onto Assam's lap and tell him, "Look, man, you made the deal with your sister." And he was like, and I love that he like once again he came up. "No, you made that deal when you decided to do what you did to the bull. That was your fault."
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think Father June's going to get into Young June's ear again about Assam, kind of trying to beat Palpatine. But I
Mm-hmm.
don't. I think this time, I think Young June's going to be more open to listen this time to Father June this time
Yeah.
about him.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I could see that because Father June, obviously, Father June and Assam didn't have the greatest of relationships. And then with Young June and Father June, I think they could see a bigger picture, especially knowing that like Mylene and Assam are related.
Mhm.
And there's just going to be like this episode, I was really wondering if we were going to get away from a rivalry between Young June and Assam, because of the fact that I was like, oh, maybe they're showing Young June like maybe I shouldn't act the way I do and I should listen to Assam. But the beef, I think, is still there between the two of them, and it's still going to come to a head in some way. But like Father June is in Young June's ear, to kind of spur that on, possibly,
Mm-hmm.
and a Psalm with maybe a Toy or Yun Mi or Chow. Well, I don't know about Chow now, but but one of those individuals being in a Psalm's ear. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's an interesting like battle that we have within the Hopway and a battle that we have within the Long Z.
Do you all right? So I'm gonna switch gears for just a little bit because we started talking about Chow. What do you think is about to happen with him? Because I like what Happy Jack. Like, first of all, I forgot how Happy Jack even found out he had counterfeit money. I guess because they raided the
Yeah,
warehouse.
yeah, they
And
heard about the raid and that they were looking for counterfeit money, and they had just paid them a lot of money. So it was like, oh, I see what y'all did.
what was about Happy Jack when he sold them? I'm still pissed that y'all gave me fake money. I was like, yes, yes.
Ooh.
I think Chow's gonna figure out a way out. It's the Lee situation. What is he go? Is he going to try to ship Lee back off to get him away from his sister, or like what's going to happen? And then my last thing is Mosley. Is he dead or not?
So I don't think Mosley's dead. You don't show it. He's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
The gunshot that we hear, I bet is Mosley shooting the other guy in some way, or
Mm-hmm.
or maybe he does get like graze him or something like that, or maybe they both shoot. I don't know, but Mosley's alive. There's like I have no question that man's alive. Uh, Lee and Chow though, I wonder if because there's been a kind of beef there for building between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Chow thought he had the upper hand in terms of, oh, I got rid of Lee now. Clank. Oh no, I don't. Oh no, problems. So, but I wonder if Chow and Lee are like being shipped off like to Georgia or whatever. Or like they're just shipping Chow with Lee just
Oh
because
wow.
I could see Happy Jack doing that. I could see him just doing stuff just cause. But maybe Lee and Chow have an extended conversation or coming to terms with things where they see eye to eye and maybe they team up to get out of the situation.
Because it seems like they're gonna Happy Jack's definitely gonna go after the Hopway for the counterfeit money. That's I think that's a done deal. I think we're gonna come to a head about those two. I
Yeah,
think that
probably. Yeah.
Chow and Lee, Chow, where was Chow? Chow got shipped off before somewhere. Like I remember his story, but I just can't remember right now. I think he's practically a slave on one of the Caribbean islands or something. So
Oh yeah. I
possibly
don't remember. Yeah.
I can't remember now. It's just I remember him telling the story when Assam got kicked out of the Hopway for losing that fight.
Oh yeah.
I remember that story, and yeah, with the Lee situation, with him and Lee, yeah, they're going. I think it's going to come down to they're going to have to work together at some point to get out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And Happy Jack probably knows how to transport them, especially back to Georgia. And I mean, what's that, $500? That's a lot of money even today for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. That's a
So
lot of money.
and it's those two are going to have to work together just because survival at this
Yeah.
point.
Exactly. They're like that's got to be probably I feel like they're going to come to cuz I think there's been a genuine kind of respect, a deep like not really shown respect between the two of them, but like they know each other's game, and I think there's a discussion to be had where they come to terms and try and figure out how they both can escape. The Hapjack Hopway angle, I didn't think about that, and maybe during the next pickup of like shipment or something like that, that's when Happy Jack goes at the Hopway.
Mhm.
Because I don't see Happy Jack. I mean, they talk about Happy Jack in ways to make him feel like a very fearful, like a character you should fear.
Mhm.
So I wonder the numbers that Happy Jack actually has. Like maybe I'm misremembering, but maybe he has a whole lot of has a larger crew than I'm giving him credit for. So
Because I only seen like five of them, and like three of them, Assam and Young June killed inside
yeah.
that one area. So it was like it seemed like it's only been him and that one guy. Unless
Mhm.
it's just he for a guy whose name is Happy Jack, he's always angry. So it's
Yeah, he's
just
not very happy. He's just not a happy man.
that name does not fit him at all.
No, no, he's very angry.
So we're thinking is getting Lee and Chow are getting sent to Georgia for the
My
bounty.
yeah, my guess is like I'm for sure Lee, obviously, but
Mhm,
like with Chow, unless they want to like torture Chow or something like that. Like maybe they just want to do that to Chow. My thought is they just toss him in just because it's like, why not? That way it gives us an opportunity for Lee and Chow to work things out and have a discussion of some kind.
mhm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but uh, I guess there is a possibility of Chow being just taken by Happy Jack to be tortured in some way.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm thinking it's gonna happen. I think he's gonna have to get saved. Either him and Lee are going to save each other, or the Hopway are gonna have to come and save Chow. Like
Mhm.
it seems like Chow's just really leaning Hopway anyway, and
Yeah.
so it'd probably be better for them to save him for weapons and all the rest of that stuff. And the information, really, information is his gold right now. His information is just completely like platinum gold for the Hopway. So he definitely is going to be an important piece to the future of that song.
Yeah, so now you mentioning that made me think, yeah, what if it's just Lee being shipped off to Georgia?
Hmm.
Mosley, like I said, I think Mosley's alive, so maybe he goes after Lee and saves him. Chow is taken by Happy Jack, tortured or whatever, and he used him as a bait, if you will, to try and get Assam and Young Jun and whoever else he feels like betrayed him and try and trap them in some way.
That's logic. Yeah, that's the logical. That yeah, and
Maybe
then
that's the angle.
and Mosley goes and gets O'Hara to go
Hmm.
help him.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, maybe because maybe Mosley's injured from the shot or something like that, and he can't do it by himself. So maybe he gets O'Hara to help him.
And
That's a good point.
I liked with O'Hara. I liked the conversation he had with his wife after he quit. And it's funny how she said, "Did you get fired or did you quit?"
That was funny. That was funny.
And
I
how? Oh, what
Oh,
were
go
you
ahead.
saying?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. So, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say I was wondering how that conversation was gonna go because for 2 seconds there, when she was giving him a look, I thought she was gonna be like, I'm seeing someone else or something like that. I thought for 2 seconds because just she had this look of like oh great, he's actually done the thing that I wanted him, or not that I wanted him to, but he's actually like finally moved on when I've moved on and found someone else. No, it was a get here. I want to hug you so hard right now.
That's so funny that you said that because I was thinking it the whole entire time when she was
Mhm.
giving that look. I was like, "Yeah, I've married this other guy." I'm like, whoa, wow,
Oh yeah.
that was
Ooh.
quick.
I was worried about that too, man. Like I was like, man, please let Bill have a happy thing happen to him, because like he's been through the ringer. A lot of it his fault, but
Oh
like
yeah.
a lot of it his fault, but like still, like, man, it's been rough for Bill. Like, give him a win. Just give him one win. And it was families together, but Mosley's gonna come in. He's like, okay, I gotta do this one thing, and then I promise I'm home. No more stuff. Technically, this ain't even cop stuff. This is just me helping this guy.
This is me saving Lee. Lee would have did the same thing for me. Like, I actually Lee has done the same thing for me. So, I kind of owe him one.
So I
So,
wonder if this now puts because like let's say Mosley approaches Bill, right?
mm,
Mosley, I'm pretty sure, is looking for a partner. And like I think we said in one of our previous episodes together that we think Lee may be the one he approaches to be his new partner.
hmm
But what if he approaches Bill instead to be his partner? Bill's looking for a job.
but remember, Bill told Lee, "Say I'm not joining the effing Secret Service."
That's right. He did say that. Disregard that whole part.
but it's Bill, so we're still talking about Bill O'Hare, so he still can, it can
Yeah.
his mind changes like the wind.
Yeah, and maybe it's still like Lee Mosley approaches Lee about working for the Secret Service, and maybe because Bill helps him, maybe Mosley like does him a solid and helps him with getting his job back in some way.
That's him becoming maybe chief at
Yeah,
some point, maybe
yeah,
putting in that favor.
yeah.
That's what
Maybe
I was
pulling that card in some way.
thinking. I was happy when he quit. I was like, because and the speech that he gave, I was doing this to be a good man. Like every time I put on this badge, I wanted to be a good person. It just seemed like
Mhm.
I can never be a good person, but every time I put on that badge, it's just, I was a good person. But now that he knows that he doesn't really need the badge to be a good person,
Mhm.
does he go back to try to become a chief, or is he going to? He's probably going to help Mosley for sure. I think that's going to happen to go get Lee back, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then maybe he comes back in the fold as to help him with the counterfeits. Maybe he does something else. Maybe he tries to do a regular job. At that point, I don't know, because
Yeah, he's supposed to. He said he was going to work for the. Was it the brother-in-law Horace? I think was his name.
yes.
Um, I believe he said he would work for him. So maybe he starts doing that by the end of the by like maybe he starts doing that, but Mosley approaches him like, "Hey, I need your help," and then
Mm.
they go from there in some way.
So we need writers credits. Warrior, just putting it out there. This is pretty much a brainstorming session at this point. We just need writers credits. That's all we need. I don't even want that much. I don't know how
But
much.
first, we must go on strike.
I have to get my picket sign ready.
I gotta get my picket sign and get all straightened away.
But
Also, support the writers. Just saying.
oh yes, for support the writers for sure, and
Mhm.
also the actors now too,
Yeah, and support the actors. Yes,
and UPS workers. But
and UPS workers. Yes.
but do you think that Lee made a mistake? Is it going to be seen also that Lee made a mistake inside the printer shop by not like fully investigating the whole the daughter?
Um, no, like I don't think it's a mistake necessarily, but I do think, man, Mosley was kind of being a real douchebag in
Yeah.
there. So like it was like, come on, bro. Like, let's leave the people alone. Like the dad's sick. He's coughing up stuff. Like, let's walk away from this. Let's do this. I fully, well, he probably should have went upstairs because he probably
Mhm.
would have found plates. It was probably, it was like in the end, Lee did technically, I guess, make a mistake, but it was like this dude Mosley is just going too much. Like,
Yeah.
chill out.
I feel like if he doesn't go that hard, like if he's not going that hard, maybe Lee makes that decision. Like, all right, can we just check upstairs or check everywhere or something like that? But the father sitting here choking,
Yeah.
practically dying, and things like that. It's just like, and Lee, like, pretty much the only person on this show that's genuinely a good person. So
Right.
he's going to try to get out that situation no matter what.
And you got Mosley knocking over stuff, like dumping stuff and being, just kind of like the bad cop to the good cop routine.
Hmm.
It was just too much. Like I'm glad Lee like was like, all right, this isn't, we're barking up the wrong tree, whatever he said. Like, let's chill out with this. I do wonder if Mosley's like, like I know he said like, yeah, I agree, we're not in the right spot or something, but I still wonder Mosley being who Mosley is, like, I still feel like something's off here.
It might be too late at that point because they're about to move operations
That's true.
to the
That's
Long
true.
Z,
That's true.
so they can go check if they want.
We'll have to wait and see.
We have to wait. And there was another thing I completely forgot. Um, with Buckley. Yeah, Buckley. What I liked about what Buckley said is exactly what I thought Buckley was pretty much the only one that told his true intentions this episode, where he doesn't really want to be a mayor. He wants to be the guy behind the scenes, like telling the mayor, being the kind of like the mayor being his puppet. He wants to be the puppeteer and he needs a puppet. He seems like he's more comfortable that way. And it seems like I don't know her name. What is her
Oh,
name?
Catherine.
Catherine.
Mhm.
Catherine seems like she's trying to push him into this limelight that he doesn't seem like he wants to be in. You think that's going to become a problem later on?
It might be a problem because I still wonder about her intentions. Like I still feel like there's something there,
Hmm.
something more there with her intentions with Buckley. I don't know what it is. I don't know if maybe she does have a connection with the other mayoral candidate in some way, but I still like there's something off here. I don't know what it is yet, but there's something off here.
Yeah, she's either she's a double agent or she's going to kill this guy. It's just it's a two-way street with her for me. I think she's going to take over for the political strategist that Buckley has now, because he's messing up. He's messing up. Like, he's sitting there like, well, he over, he turned that story around and made it positive. So
Yeah.
what are you going to do then? Why are you telling me this? You're giving me problems, not solutions.
Yeah, I wonder with Catherine if it's like, she's like, tell me whatever, tell me whatever, or, whatever she says to him about, be comfortable sharing with me. And I wonder if that leads to him revealing, hey, I got this picture of me with the Confederate stuff. She then takes that to the paper and blows it up.
Or like he makes her mad one day or something, and that's they find that.
Yeah, and I think he's already making his number 2 guy mad. I don't know that guy's name.
Ooh, yeah,
But,
that
like,
guy.
I think there's something there between them, because they have a moment in this episode. I forget how it goes exactly, but it was very contentious and very much like, "Ugh, I don't think your number 2 guy is gonna like you very much."
Like, because I think he walked up to him and pretty much gave him, like, talked about how, like, the brother, the other Mary, Franklin, was talking about his brother-in-law having that drug addiction, and pretty much
Mhm,
making it into a positive, like making him more of a family person. So, and really not having any type solution to maybe make Buckley look better or make him look worse. Like, it just seems like the way he's running his campaign, like trying to deport the Chinese and things like that. I don't think it's working for him. Like, I don't think it's working like
mhm.
he thinks he's supposed to. And we'll
Yeah,
see.
and I wonder if it's gonna take the other guy, the Thayer, I believe is his name,
Mhm.
if it's gonna take him winning the mayoral race in terms of calming down the pressure that they are putting on the Chinese and what they're doing in terms of Chinese labor and all that. But there is Strickland kind of lurking in the background, and
Mhm.
he's pulling strings. We didn't get a check-in from him in this episode, but there's still this other big fish floating in the pond somewhere, that maybe has some strings to pull that are bigger than just simple mayor races and whatnot.
Do you think it's weird that we didn't see them this episode, him or Leary, this episode?
Uh, you know, it was. I mean, with the amount of I mean, I don't know that it was weird. It was just like there was so much other stuff that I was okay with not seeing them for
Mhm.
a little bit. Um, because we got a lot with like Father June and Young June and obviously Myling and everything. So I didn't mind that we didn't get a check in from them, because um, maybe just right now there isn't too much with their story to progress until we see some other things happen along the way. So I'm okay with that. I do like the check in though with Atoy and Lai in terms of building up, because they're going to be coming for Strickland in some way.
I
Once they reach, like Atoy says, I think once she reach more like full strength, maybe. But I think there's a mental hurdle that Atoy has to jump as well.
So I like how she just took it with her, like, bad hand, took the sword
Yeah.
from Live with her bad hand. It's like, you're not even ready. You're not even ready to fight me. How you think you're gonna fight all these people? I,
Hmm.
I think it's gonna be all right. It's gonna sound a little nerdy. Sorry, everyone, but I think that she's about to start training them girls like the Black Widows, and like they're gonna
Oh,
be like assassins and
oh.
trying to go after Strickland, because they're hopped up and mad. They
Mhm.
just burnt down their sanctuary, and now you back them into a corner, and now, if a toy can't really fight right now, the one thing she could probably do is train these girls to defend themselves, and or
Mhm.
become swordsmen's, a bunch of swordsmen at this point.
Yeah, I wonder with a toy, because like she's telling, I mean, she's not wrong when she talks to Lie about, you can't do this out of anger.
Hmm.
You're gonna lose if you try and do this out of anger. We have to be smart about this, and we have to heal. We have to be at full strength if we're gonna take this fight to them. But I could also see a toy doing the whole hero sacrifice thing where it's like, Lie, check on this, and then we'll be ready to go. And then she like locks Lie in a room and like a toy, I'm gonna go and do it myself. Like, I don't want to get Lie in further trouble or risk her life or anything like that. Like, I could see a toy pulling off something like that to get her vengeance on Strickland and possibly not make it out of it.
That'll break my heart. I'm not gonna
It would
lie.
be very sad because I like a toy so much.
Mhm.
She wasn't a huge part of this episode, but her appearance was very strong in her confrontation with Lie, and then her breakup with Penny. That was that was sad. That was sad.
Yes.
I
And
was like,
she
no, don't break up, no.
that opens the door for a song. There we go. All right. But with her, I think that she's gonna go. I think she's still gonna fight Strickland on the legal end. And I think that the was that Penny? Penny was the
Yeah.
one was the mayor's wife?
Oh,
It's
Penelope Blake. Yeah,
oh, okay. And then
yeah.
Nelly.
Nelly. That's who it was.
Oh,
Not Penny. I can't say
I
the name right.
I get them mixed up. I think she comes back in the fold somehow. Like I still like last episode. I still think that she back. They're trying to keep her keep her out of the back of our minds. But I
Mhm.
really think she comes back strong because she has that. She has the money to fight Strickland too.
Yeah, that's true. She does.
So
And Nelly, I got it right this time. Nelly will I wonder where this now goes for her in terms of, now that like basically a toy's broken up with her. I don't think Nelly's gonna let it go necessarily. I think she's gonna, come back to a toy in some way and try and figure out how she can mend the fence with her. Um,
mhm.
but I do think by the end of this thing, we do see that other 50 acres that she's talking about buying and bringing a toy and whoever else to it. But yeah, it leaves her in an interesting spot right now.
Yeah, it does. I'm kind of excited to see what happens on their front. Like, because I know a toy is going to go and catch some bodies, but is like there's that other front where there's money behind like Nelly and whoever else she can get behind her too, and maybe even a toy. The toy got money too, so it's just it's the different fronts that they can hit Strickland with is going to be very interesting, and I wonder if
Yeah.
they get the Hopway involved.
Yeah, if anybody would get involved, Assam, I could see Assam getting very much involved. Like we
Mhm.
said last episode, he was ready to roll when he found out about a toy and what happened with her. So I could see him rolling. Maybe the Hopway go in and are ready to fight. I mean, who knows? But I could definitely see Assam very much in the fighter protector mode.
Mhm. Is there any other parts of this episode that you had in mind?
Well, I do. Let's see. I mean, we talked about Father June and everything. I think we covered most everything that I wanted to cover. Oh, Catherine really helped Buckley in this episode. Hey,
Hey,
hey.
is she redheaded? I didn't know that she was redheaded.
For Buckley, it doesn't matter
Doesn't
anymore.
matter now, huh? He's
Doesn't matter anymore
oh,
when she's
Buckley.
into you.
Buckley finally got a lady. Look at that. It took three
Yeah.
seasons, but he got he's here.
That's what,
Not
but
locking
like
here.
that scene is another reason why like Catherine's gonna like double cross him in some way. Like she's gonna like flip the script on him in some way. Because there's just I mean, there is a way where he could be very nice. He could this woman could be very much into him.
Mhm.
I don't know, man.
Some,
I don't know.
just something sneaky about her. Just the
There's
way she even
something
came in.
there's something there that I can't figure out. And I don't know, man.
It's gonna mess us up when we see it. That's the problem. Like when it happens, when that shoe drops, that's
Mhm.
gonna be like, oh wow, this
And
is what we've been waiting for.
I'm ready for it because Buckley's a
Yeah,
very terrible person. So I'm all about it,
man.
honestly.
I'm cool with it too. I'm not gonna lie, and he was a Confederate
Mhm.
soldier, so definitely I have double reasons for him to, get his.
I bet she's the one that gets a hold of it in somehow, some way. Like he presents it to her like, yeah, this is what the Myling or whoever has over me, and she's like, oh, don't worry, blah blah blah, blast it to the papers.
Ooh, but it in that way, but to tell you the truth, in that way, it might help him because he doesn't want to be mayor. He wants to be
That's true.
the puppeteer, and you go behind Franklin, and pretty much you're puppeteering Franklin. He can maybe sneak his way in that way, but I don't. whew, that can ruin a career, as we know from other people, having type of pictures and things like that being brought up against them in real life. So
Mhm.
we'll see.
Catherine or his number two. I mean, that's probably the only two that would double cross him at this point. But one of those two are gonna be the ones that like not even my Ling, not even that. It's one of them two are gonna do something to Buckley.
Oh yeah. So do we have any other conspiracy theory predictions like we normally have?
Uh, I don't think so. Probably my only one, which I mentioned earlier, was the Chow maybe working with Lee.
Hmm.
Um, but as we talked it out, I don't know about that. I think the biggest thing is probably Lee Young, and does he pull like the leadership card from Mai Ling and become the leader of the Long Z?
Because he
Oh,
has that Kong bug in his ear trying to tell him
Kong
like,
Pak, yeah,
become,
he,
become it.
yeah. Hmm.
So I'm this show just gives us so many, like, it'll break like a glass and have it go everywhere. It just seems like you're just trying to put the pieces together. It's just amazing how they are able to play this and also have great action, like that fight scene with Young June. Like that was a really good fight scene.
He held
And
his own for as long as he could. He did well, and then the numbers game.
because I was tired watching him trying to fight these
I
dudes off.
know. I mean, he did his best, and it'd probably be different if he had his knives like he, normally does. But no luck, no dice.
Like when he went looking for his knives, I was like, oh, he's in trouble. He's about to get beat. He's about to get destroyed right now.
Yeah, especially because it was like seven. Like if it was a Psalm, it would have been different. Like Young June is good, but not a Psalm good.
God. Yeah, and yeah, especially if he does, like you say, he does have his knives, so he's just a
Hmm.
different fighter,
Yeah,
completely
he's just
different.
different. Exactly. If he had those blades that like his dad gave him, like later on, like it would have been a bloody, bloody scene. But like with the way it was, no dice.
Yeah, and the last thing we kind of wanted to talk about. Do you think they were really about to go out in the blaze of glory, like the him and his dad?
I really thought so. I think they would. I think they would have. I thought we were gonna like when they were saying no, Father June can't go. I thought Father June was like, okay, son, and then he just swipes the
Oh,
the rifleman and goes out in a blaze of glory. Like I really thought they were gonna do that for a second, but
because
then it was like, oh no, it makes more sense because he's such an interesting character. It would make more sense to bring him back into the fold and see what he does now with the Hopway and where they're at.
he's definitely gonna manipulate Young June for sure.
Oh yeah,
In
for
some
sure. Oh, for
in
sure.
some
And probably help the Hopway and really let the Hopway grow in some way. I bet.
I wonder if by the end of this season we see Assam and Myling on the outside looking in of the tongs and them having to, I guess, work together
Yeah,
to
finally
do
put
something.
them put them on common ground and make them work together. I could definitely see that.
That's what it looks like we're heading towards, because that whole, it just seems contentious right now between really
Mhm,
both number twos of the tongs. Now first we get the bosses arrested. Now the number
mhm,
twos are kind of like, we can't. I don't think we can trust the bosses right now.
mhm.
So interesting.
And I'm curious whether that leads to Lee Young being the leader of the Long Z, or does he really go and fight for Mai Ling, and maybe Kong Pak becomes the leader of the Long
Ooh.
Z through all of this,
He
you
seems
know?
sneaky enough. He seems
He,
sneaky enough.
but there, yeah, he could go either way. At this point, he could go either way.
He's and remember, the guy that was running the Mongolians, he's still out there somewhere. He still seemed like he was getting out, so he could be showing up at some point too.
Yeah,
He could
maybe.
be.
Yeah.
Oh, it's too much. It's too much in this show. All right, so with that, I don't have anything else really from this episode. It seemed like it was a really compact episode, like really, like, not too complex. We talked about some of our conspiracy theories for this show, and I'm satisfied. I don't know if you got anything
It
else.
No, I don't really have anything else. It's a well done episode. It was well paced. I mean, it gave us check-ins with most all the characters in some way. Um, but it balanced the storylines very well. The pacing was very good. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode as much as any of the episodes so far.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the ratings to this show by chance, by like each episode?
No, I actually have not seen. I
So
haven't. I've stayed away,
I went on
not by choice,
IMDb.
but just because I forgot.
I went on IMDb, and like the lowest rating I saw was like 8.3. Like I think this episode was like 8.6,
Rightfully
and
so.
it's deserving. Like,
Definitely.
and I think really every episode is in the eights, and the highest one was the riot episode, and I think that was like
Yeah,
a 9.6.
that's a classic, man. That one's a real classic.
Oh, that's such a great, that was
And
such a
so
great episode.
and so far, season 3 has been like I said, it's very very well done. Like this season has been so well paced, so just balanced in so many ways. Like I've thoroughly enjoyed this season so far. And it's like, to me, it's one of the most underrated shows on television right now because it's so different from what you get on other stuff. It balances storytelling with action. It does just so well. And it's a period piece that showcases the period in a very like enlightening way, like I think the show is hitting on all cylinders in all aspects.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think this show is not talked about enough, and yeah, if we get a season 4, I'll be very excited about season 4. But this season 3 has definitely, I think, out of all the seasons so far, this has been the best one. We're midway through, and this has to be the best season so far, in my
It's
opinion.
it's good. I have to think about that some more in terms of what my favorite season is, because I don't have season 1 and 2 just off the in my memory banks as of yet. Like
Hmm.
my favorite episode might be the riot episode, but like I don't know. I could go back and forth.
That riot
Um,
episode was
the riot
definitely.
episode's really good. The Lee Young and Assam fight from season 1 was really good because it put your hero in a different light where it was like, oh yeah, the hero doesn't win because he's not fully invested in what he's doing. He doesn't believe in it. That's why he couldn't achieve it until season 2 when he does believe in what he's fighting for. Like I love what they've done with the show, and I love that again this season is about identity, and like this episode is about struggling with leadership, and people that don't want to be leaders are going to have to be leaders in some way. Or like in Buckley's case, he may not be a leader and he wants to be a leader. He's not the right leader though. Like
Mm-mm.
it's putting everybody in different interesting places and exploring different themes that I'm enjoying so much.
I think the thing I keep hearing from I think just from Buckley alone, I keep hearing from Buckley, the best politicians are the ones that don't want to be politicians.
It's true.
He kept
True.
saying that to Leary. He kept saying that about Leary. Like that's
Mhm.
really Leary's tagline from everyone else. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't want to be a politician, but he'd be a great politician.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's the thing with him is he's struggling with his identity of being a thug or being something more for the Irish and being maybe a politician and a true leader that doesn't just use his fists to solve conflict. Like he has to be more. And I think we're going to see that growth. I mean, we've already started seeing that, but I think it's going to grow further by the end of this season.
yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm excited. God, this show, I could talk about this for too long. But but I do want to say one thing. Michael Carroll has been with ESPN for what, 14 years now?
Yeah,
You
14
celebrated your
years.
14 years?
Yeah, July
Woo!
10th. It's been 14 years.
So if you guys get a chance in the comments, please congratulate Michael Carroll for 14 years of straight excellence, and
Oh, I
pretty
try,
much
man.
being in the 14 years of what, yeah, this is your passion. So I'm
Yeah,
congratulating you on that, man.
thank you.
I've never been at anything for 14 years, so
Yeah, it's like oh, it's good. It's your 14 years, or oh, you've been there 14 years. Oh, like it's a good thing. No, it's a
it's a
good thing.
it's a great thing. It's stability.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So congratulations on that, Michael, and also congratulations on pretty much being at 500 episodes. We will congratulate you whenever that happens. But
Thank you. I appreciate it. We're edging closer and closer. I guess it's like 6 weeks away from our issue 500 of Comicast. So yeah, we're getting there, man. It's a slow roll. Also, I gotta apologize for like my video has slowly gone dark because it's gone dark outside. My bad. I could have turned on a light, but like I was like, oh no, the natural light will be fine. We'll be, and then it's gotten dark.
Yeah, it happens. It's pretty dark in here too. So, but yeah, just wanted to congratulate on those achievements, man. That's exciting. It's very exciting to hear, and I'll continue on.
Definitely,
year 15
that's all I
coming.
can do. Yeah, 15, man, we're approaching it. But yeah, it's been a long journey, but it's been fun because I've gotten to meet so many different people. Of course, doing the podcast with Jong wouldn't have been possible without the job, and just different things has led me to like being on this podcast with you right now. So I can't. I'm blessed, man. I'm truly blessed to have the opportunities that I have. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long ride.
I appreciate you joining the podcast. I know, like I said, we're big fans of this show, and I can't think of anybody else to talk about this show with.
Yes.
So with that is the pod for today. Once again, where you can find the Cruising Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, or anywhere you can find podcast needs. That's where you can find the Cruising Podcast. So you find latest updates of the show is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast, also on Twitter at Nicetown Finance. And where can they find you, Michael Carrell?
I'll get it right this time. You can find me on all your favorite social media platforms at Producer Mike 975. You can also find Comicast, COMICAST, on all your favorite podcast platforms. And while you're there, hey, subscribe, rate, share, review, whatever you want to do. I don't want to pressure you. Just do what you want to do. Also, I promise to have light next time we do this.
And also, I'm pressuring you. You need to put five ratings, 5 stars on that. Just put it out there. Just put 5 stars. Leave a review. It helps with visibility. So 5 stars.
And hey, while you're on your podcast platform of choice, leave 5 stars for the Cruising Podcast. Oh, what are you doing if you haven't already?
And also, one more thing. I'm sorry. What last thing? Shout out to Dell. Oh, I don't want to mess his last name up because I know he gets
Del
mad about
Olale.
Olale. Shout out to Del Olale for this shout out on the Paul Gallant show this morning. Appreciate it. He shouted out the Comicast and also Cruising Podcast, so I appreciate him for that. And Michael Carrell was on there, so you can hear him on there talking about the summer movies and summer TV shows. Also, he's talking about Warrior on there, actually. So
I did. I got to mention Warrior because I'm going to beat the drum down for Warrior every chance I get.
Any door I can kick in to talk about Warrior, in there.
It's same. I'm right behind. Same.
All right. So with that is the show. Hopefully everybody stays safe out there. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, or don't do anything Michael Carrell wouldn't do, which is, you better stay 14 years at your job. But make sure, and also know your comic book and stuff. But with that, make sure you know everything. Don't do anything I would do. Catch you guys later. Deuces.
And get light bulbs.
Oh yeah, light. Yes, for sure. Bye, everybody.